Hey friends, Aaron Snagger here from Snap Fitness CBD. Come to talk to you today about the upward spiral of wellness and a healthy lifestyle, and the downward spiral of poor health and nutrition. Two flip sides of motivation in a way. So let's get into the healthy spiral. So the upward spiral of healthiness. So there comes a tipping point in everyone's journey where the habits and routines of a healthy lifestyle are easier to maintain than, the resistance of going back to old habits of poor eating, poorer exercise habits, that sort of stuff. Now, this tipping point is what becomes the upward spiral of health and fitness. So this is a positive and awesome thing to achieve, and anyone who has gone through this sort of transformation can tell you how good it feels and how almost easy it becomes to follow a healthier sort of lifestyle when you get into this upward spiral. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of you who at this point right now are like, I don't even know what this is. I didn't even know this exists. It's such a struggle for me to go to the gym. It's such a struggle for me to eat healthily. Now, let me just quickly go into why this upward spiral works, and then we'll talk about the downward spiral and how to get out of it. Like, what are the outcomes of it? How to get out of it? So, with the upward spiral, you start to get to that tipping point where the habits and routines come naturally. You wake up at a certain time. You have your exercise at a certain time. You are good at your food prep. You prepare all your food at a certain time or a day. You're getting results. People are noticing. You are noticing in the mirror. Your clothes are getting looser. You have to buy a new wardrobe. You're feeling good about how you're progressing. Now, all of these things contribute to you. It's like a reward. Your brain recognizes these things as a reward for the hard work that you've done, the effort that you've put in, and you just want to keep doing it. It gets easier to do. You get better results. You get more results, and it just becomes a constant upward spiral where you don't want to interfere with that spiral by drinking alcohol, eating takeaway, that sort of stuff, because it will ruin those good results and that good feeling that you get from eating healthily, exercising regularly. So that's the benefit of getting to that tipping point is that you get bigger and bigger, and it gets easier and easier. It becomes harder to get out of that upward spiral. But in saying that, on the flip side, when you get into a downward spiral, the same thing applies. If your habits and your routines and your regular behaviors are surrounded with negative lifestyle choices, poor eating, poor exercise, that in itself becomes harder and harder to get back into the upward spiral. In fact, it builds and builds and builds, where the negative spiral is self-fulfilling and a cycle in itself. You eat bad food, you feel like shit, you don't want to exercise, you look at yourself and you feel fat and sluggish, you think, oh, people don't look at me, what's the point? I'll keep eating this way, there's no point now, and that becomes that downward spiral, which is unfortunate, but there are ways to get out of it, okay? And most people who are in that upward spiral have come from that downward spiral, and they know what the downward spiral is like. They can empathize with you, but they're in that upward spiral now, and they know what it feels like, and they do not want to get back in that downward spiral. What you have to do is you have to tooth and nail claw your way out of that downward spiral, and the way you do that is pure willpower to begin with, okay? Oftentimes, to get out of that downward spiral, you need to hit a low point. Now, for me, it was I was smoking regularly, drinking high sugar energy drinks, eating takeaway a lot, and lived a stressful lifestyle and drank a lot. So I went to the doctor for migraines, found out I had high blood pressure at the age of 21, 22. which is ridiculous. They had to put me on blood pressure medication at that age, which was almost unheard of. That was a wake-up call to me. That was a low point for my life to get out of that downward spiral. Now, it was hard. I had to quit smoking. I had to quit energy drinks and lots of caffeine. I had to change my lifestyle in regards to stress and drinking and going out. I had to make a lot of changes to do that. But once you know what the processes are, and if you don't know what the processes are to get to a healthy lifestyle, that's where you come to a PT, nutritionist, dietitian, and they can help you out there. But you need to trust that what you're going to do, what you're going to undertake, is going to take a long time. It could take a long time to progress out of it. You may not see results immediately, but in many cases, if you're that far down the downward spiral and you make a lot of lifestyle changes, you may see results quite quickly, which will shoot you back up to the upward spiral. And just understand that it is not easy to get from this downward spiral to the tipping point, because if you are that far down the downward spiral, you're probably very unfit, you're probably very unhealthy, you probably don't have, you're probably not very strong, you probably have poor cardiovascular health. Understand this, know this, don't compare yourself to others in that progress. Understand it's your journey. As long as you're making progress, trusting in the processes and understanding that at one point it will get easier, just keep crawling your way out tooth and nail. Just crawl. Then you start to walk, then you start to run, and then all of a sudden you're back into the upward spiral. You've reached that tipping point and you're on your way to health and a good, positive, healthy lifestyle. Now, coming from that downward spiral, I've been in that downward spiral before. I would say it would take at least 3 months to get into some good, positive, healthy habits. That's just keep in mind, know that for at least 3 months, you're going to be hating it. Or not necessarily hating it, but you're going to have your good and bad days. Go from there. Give yourself at least 3 months. At least 3 months. Okay, we're not talking a 2-week or a 4-week bloody challenge here. We're talking 3 months of proper lifestyle changes where you're going to use your own willpower and grit to do the right things to get into the upward spiral. Okay. You can do it. I believe in you. There's many people who have done it. There's help out there if you are really serious about it. Okay? I'll see you in the gym.